Hello, welcome back to TechBits YouTube channel podcast. In this episode, we're going to be covering the community involvement of Postgres. And of course, I got one great guest that has always been more than helpful and has a wealth of information as always bringing us new cool stuff and information. And you should know her. If you don't, her name is Sarah Conway, and she's very involved in the community. Sarah, welcome back. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes, I recently heard that you had a tremendous success and involvement with PG Day Lowlands in Amsterdam or Netherlands, I think. Netherlands, actually.
Technically, yes, Amsterdam at
Oh, Amsterdam.
Schweiger.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
no, it went absolutely fantastic. We had a in-person event, obviously, that went the entire day with a great lineup of speakers like Letitia Rowe, and yeah, we
Okay.
actually had it at Schweiger, and it was a fantastic all-day event. We had a great lineup of speakers, including Letitia Avro. Uh, um, Yes, we had a great in-person event at the Pack House in Disweiger. It was an all-day event. We had a great lineup of speakers, and they covered everything from how to use Postgres with Mastodon to how to optimize Postgres efficiently for querying, and I think even a monitoring talk, if I remember correctly. And all of those recordings are actually going to be available on YouTube. We were able to get them recorded. It was also live streamed, which was super exciting. Um, that was my particular involvement. I did not actually go to the event in person. I just watched the live stream community channel and was happy to do that to actually enable that.
Oh, that's a tremendous contribution alone on itself. Getting everything together, regardless whether you're remote or in person, it's still a great achievement.
Absolutely. Um, and it's really nice to have accessibility promoted within the community space, as not everyone can travel to conferences or events like me. It's not always feasible to go out and travel halfway across the world to go see some of your favorite speakers or network. And so to be able to still connect with the community from afar is super important.
Oh, definitely, completely agree. And that's a big achievement to have it on YouTube. That's amazing.
Absolutely. I think it'll be up here in the next couple of weeks. We're still in the process of getting them all sliced and diced and then adding on accurate subtitles. So if you have trouble hearing the words, you'll be able to actually read it and follow along just fine.
Oh, nice. That's definitely going to be nice to it's free information out there, post it. I'll remember to post the YouTube channel link and in this posting for YouTube.
Awesome.
So the community can link about it and actually watch them.
Yeah, subscribe and then you'll get notified as the new videos drop.
And out of curiosity, how much involvement, how many hours, man hours, or I guess trying to establish a baseline of involvement that you had from start to finish until of this entire project itself?
It really depends on your role and what you're doing. Everyone else in the team who was there in person obviously dedicated much more time because they obviously had to do things like get to the event space and set it up and, actually collect all the swag and go pick it up. So I didn't have to do any of that. It was a lot easier on my part. I just managed the social media, some of it on my end. Forgeries handled the rest, like from the actual PG Day Lowlands accounts, and did a fantastic job. And So, like, for my part, just trying to, do some advocacy work and monitoring the actual channel and then throwing in weekly meetings was maybe like between 1 to 2 hours a week, and then the actual event itself, which was an all day or for me all night event. Um,
Yeah,
but
8 hours difference, definitely.
yeah, but so it's very minimal involvement, honestly, all things considered from my point of view. And there's definitely opportunities for volunteers to help out in that kind of capacity. Whether you just have a little bit of time to dedicate or a lot, you can kind of be flexible in what you choose, especially depending on how you want to be involved, right? There were some people that were involved, I think, specifically just with the talk selection committee. And on other conferences I've been on, it's been the same thing. You're just around to help uh, choose the talks, choose the speakers, and then you're done, right? That's all you're doing. And then the rest of it goes to the rest of the organizational committees. So you can choose. Really nice. I'm sure everyone
Really?
else in the team ended up spending probably more like 3 to 5 hours a week, I would wager, from the activity I saw on Telegram, at minimum. And then, the actual event itself was probably more like 2 days back to back because of actual travel to the event and setting it up and then, getting everything established afterwards. There was wrap up afterwards that maybe took, half a day or a day. So it really depends on what you want to do and how you want to be involved.
Nice. That's really useful because you can actually contribute as little as much as you want.
Exactly. And honestly, I would take that into consideration if you're thinking about contributing to any kind of Postgres event. Don't let it stop you if you don't feel like you have the time. If you can just do only a couple things, like just throw on subtitles on a video, or just, go out there and like advocate for the conference, or just try and help find speakers, or, work on the website, any, right? Like, it all helps. It all pulls some of that burden off the other organizers, and it's still important. It makes it so their time contribution has is less overall. It doesn't have to be so much of an investment of their time as well. It can be spread out among multiple people. That's what being a community is. As a community, we can make something happen and have an incredible burden on just a few select people.
Very true. And you have probably, I'm pretty sure it's not your first time participating in any of these community events, I'm guessing.
No, absolutely not. I've actually been contributing for the last years at various events. I mean, it's not been continuous back to back every year, certainly, but I started out actually contributing to the Postgres Open conferences, three of them back to back, the ones in Chicago. And I found the experience to be a lot of fun. For that, I was actually on the talk selection committee and on the organizational committee. Ended up helping with their website, advocacy and social media. And then when I was actually at the event, I helped set up, do room hosting, all that good stuff. Um, I've done room hosting at Scale, the Southern California Linux Expo, and the Postgres track, which is also a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I've done pretty much every role. This is my first time on the Code of Conduct Committee, which was definitely a little bit of a different experience, but still, this is enjoyable. And everyone on the team was an absolute joy to work with. I would absolutely do it again, and I'm looking forward to it next year.
Oh, great. I did get a chance to see the posting on LinkedIn in which it had the pictures and they had your picture there. They looked like they were all having a blast.
Yeah, agreed. I had no idea they were gonna do that. It was really, really sweet that they actually included the two of us that couldn't be there in person.
Oh, you earned it. They look really nice and fun and professional, and they all look happy to be doing it.
Yeah,
Picture was nice shot. Not only that, but it also looked like a lot of warmth and fun at the same time.
agreed. That really describes some of those people, I feel like, and as a team, which is exactly why it was so enjoyable.
Well, you definitely have a lot of experience, quite a few years. That's a nice, uh, experiences under your belt. Any others that really are memorable or specific that stick to your mind immediately that you really, really enjoyed on top list?
Mm. I can't really say so. Most of the others that I contributed to have been in the, either the talk selection committee virtually, or working on websites, just implementing, template, yeah, implementing the templates that are a little bit confusing and difficult to deal with from upstream. Um, a lot, there's a lot that needs to be improved. So these conferences and events tend to need someone who can help manage them if they don't have a dedicated website person, if they want it to look somewhat decent and, be somewhat manageable to work with. So I've been able to fill that space, but, beyond that, I haven't really done as many in person, unfortunately. I would like to change that.
Oh, well, it's still, that's huge, amazing efforts that you provided there. And I'm sure the community appreciates it because you can see all that was able to be accomplished.
Agreed.
Nice. That's very nice. Any other thoughts you have there, or kind of recommendations for others who might be interested or wanting to join and help on these efforts? Some technical difficulties here and power supply dying on us, but we're back. I'm really impressed with all your help to the community, Sarah. It's amazing. It's really good stuff. Everybody should be lucky to just have even half of your experience there.
I think
Oh, bro. Don't worry, I'll pause and remove it there.
okay. Um, I appreciate your kind words. Honestly, though, I think everyone could benefit just from the community coming together as a whole to contribute whatever experience that they have, whether it's Postgres specific or, they just have marketing knowledge to bring or sales or advocacy or communication, right? Sponsorship outreach, and, anything helps. You don't have to have experience to contribute back to the community to make a difference and to really just brighten people's days, right? Um, that's what it means to be a community, and it's really important, especially as user groups and conferences today aren't really supported by the upstream Postgres Global Development Group, or even from the nonprofit. They do get paychecks. They get the funding that they need maybe to actually have the event. They're able to reach out to sponsors to get the rest of what they might need, but there's not a whole lot of support from anyone actually in the core community that's boosting these user groups in a very highly visible way, right? They get posted on the website in a hard to find area, or they get posted about like in the PGSQL announcements list, maybe, or the weekly news, like very specific places that only very specific people go to see it. But the problem is these user groups and conferences exist to promote awareness and education of Postgres. So if we're only promoting it in Postgres specific channels that only the core community group knows
Oh,
about, I mean, do you see the problem here? It makes it very difficult for people that are students that are, who are transitioning from other databases, who are just application developers, who are hobbyists, startup owners, small business owners, people who have no reason to be on the Postgres mailing lists to know about Postgres and know that it exists and understand that, like, oh, hey, there's actually this whole community of people who are willing to like talk about it and share information and troubleshoot and like help me with specific issues. And so you get a whole lot of disconnect between this really amazing Postgres community and this whole audience of users who could really benefit from using Postgres, who just will never do that because they go to postgresql.org and they see a legacy website. And I can say that because I designed it in 2018 and it hasn't changed since, besides, very minor updates. Um, they go to the documentation, they see documentation that's written very technically. It's excellent documentation. It's a great reference for those who know what they're doing, not for those that don't. It's not, Snowflake's getting started page. It's not Databricks getting started page. Like all these other databases make it really easy to look at their site and go, okay, I'm a complete novice with databases in general. I just know that I need one. And this site's making it really easy for me to install it, to get started, to know what it is I'm doing, to optimize it, to find other resources. Even even on some of these websites, they're highlighting community heroes, people that are advocates within the community who are just talking about the technology on their
oh,
own, like you or me, right? And they're saying, like, look at these great individuals. They're talking about this technology. Let's celebrate them and bring awareness to their pages because they're helping spread the word about this technology. We don't have that in
that is a
Postgres.
shame, man, because I completely agree. It's hard to sometimes to find specific topics in, it becomes very niche. That's really what it comes to. And it's hard to find out.
Yeah,
Maybe if you're lucky, you see a post on LinkedIn, it appears, or YouTube. And there are other communities putting it that way that have a lot more funds. So they do drop a lot of money and budgets in there to get all that awareness. And they treat the website, it makes it very simple to just find things. Ours is very distributed. Postgres is
exactly.
well documented and very wealth of information, but it's hard to sometimes put it all together, pinpoint it, group it. And I think I did one of
Exactly.
I guess, disadvantages or areas that needs improvement, actually. That's definitely, but
It really
I'm
is.
glad we have people like yourself that
Yeah.
are aware of that and are able to put this word out there, because I think the more that gets put out there, the better chance that somebody might step in or help in that matter.
I'm hoping so because, I mean, it's not just about talking about it, right? It's we need people that actually have the time and energy to invest in a difference. And, one person here or there isn't really gonna do much as individuals. We need to come together as a community and agree, like, "Okay, we have a problem. I understand, we understand that the core team has done a great job at promoting Postgres so far, right? Like they're the reason that Postgres is as popular as it is today. They're the reason that it's so well built and it's so well recognized for being an excellent database for almost any application or use case, right? For any amount of data, doesn't matter. But with that being said, it's still incredibly difficult to get started using it if you don't have that SQL background, and it's incredibly difficult to contribute to it, given the legacy systems that are in place that are actually hosting the documentation, the website, the templates they use for the conference websites alone, and so on and so forth. So, as a community, we have to come together and go like, "Okay, this is actually a problem. We need to do something about it. We have to make substantial changes. They can't just be tiny incremental ones that are spread out over a number of years. We don't have that kind of time anymore. Like we're at a crucial point where Postgres is recognized as being the most popular, according to Stack Overflow's 2024 and 2023 developer surveys, and many other places as well. It's most loved, it's most wanted, it's most used, right? That's going to change if we don't put in that effort to make it accessible. We have to put in, if not the funding, we have to put in the time and the energy that the other databases are into making it easy to understand and to approach and to use. The technology is already there, the quality is already there. We just need to have that developer advocacy type experience to improve connections from the user base to the to the
Wow.
technology.
Well said. That's, that's exactly what we need, to be able to put the word out there, because there's a lot of databases out there. Let's face it. There's all types of databases too. But the beauty of Postgres is it's extensible. It's solid. Before, some would always advocate and say, "Oh, it hasn't been proven itself. Oh, not many people love it." That's not the case since the last few years, actually. It's got acid, it's reliable,
Yeah.
it's extensible. And if there is not an extension out there, go develop it yourself. It's, you're not being restricted. In other
Yeah.
databases, you're restricted of that. You're like, oh, there's a lot of roadblocks. You can't do this, you can't do that, or it's not available for you. Postgres is there, no matter wanting to do it, having the effort, time too. And the community itself is so welcoming. Everybody, I've yet to find anybody who's been mean or not helpful. And that usually means a lot.
Yeah. And that's the thing that really gets me is that the Postgres community is very friendly. They are very welcoming. No matter what opinion you're coming in with or what you need help with, there might be a very spirited discussion about it, but they're there to help you figure it out or, tell you the way it is, right? And they're not misrepresenting the software. They're not go after you in any negative way. They're just like, no, this is how it is, though. We know because we've been working with it for so long. And that was been my experience since the beginning of when I first got involved in Postgres over 12 years ago. And, I was very young then. I was female. It was very different to walk into the Postgres community versus the more general open source or Linux communities, which I was also involved with at the time, because there in, more general open source or Linux communities, it was much more judgmental. There's a lot more bias. It was a lot more condescending whenever I would try to, come in with questions or anything, and I needed help. Versus Postgres, I could ask anything, and I watched others come in, over the years and be completely welcomed without any issues whatsoever. But the problem is just getting people to that point where they are actually able to interact with the community, like either because they're having trouble finding channels to interact with.
She had her own too there.
Sorry.
So that's her contribution to the community.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, either they're having trouble finding the actual channels that they should connect with the Postgres community on, or maybe they don't see the right representation too, right? Because I've actually heard from other women, as an example, like clearly there's a number of groups that need to be represented, but specifically from women, I've heard that they won't go to a conference because they see that they're not represented. They don't want to be one of only two there attending a session. They don't want to be, one of only two friends. And so you end up with no one at the conference that is actually representative of the community. The women that are actually actively involved have to go out of their way to be very public, be very visible in order to have a positive impact to others that might want to take part. And that's a lot. A lot of responsibility and a lot of
That's true.
effort.
And that's very sad because the community is involved, well, and open, but it is sad to see that some might not feel welcome. And that's something that needs to be addressed or worked upon because everybody's welcome there. Everybody, I have yet to see anybody being told, no, no, you shouldn't be. No, everybody's come on over. But I can see from their point of view too that can be a bit intimidating when you don't see somebody in certain similar thoughts or patterns that's close enough, makes it hard to network. Probably that's the biggest aspect from it.
That and it's just not spread across the appropriate channels. A lot of it, as we mentioned before, is just very focused on the Postgres community specific channels, and not very much effort is put to extend it past that. You know, I mean, let's face it, MySQL is still taught in colleges and universities and boot camps everywhere. Why isn't Postgres? It would be really easy of us as a community to go, hey, let's do some outreach to all these different, places where they're teaching MySQL and offer them all this free training material that is literally available there on Postgres. So let's just tailor it and, fix it up a little bit. And hey, we've probably got dozens of volunteers across the globe that are willing to actually help deliver this content even or provide like specific training or expertise. Um, there we can make a difference in spreading it to different places and we're just not. And there's no real reason
True.
for that.
There isn't. The content there, the resources to teach and share the knowledge is there. And many are wanting, but we've got to find a way to get that moving forward. I'm sure that the more we preach it out there, hopefully somebody will listen to it and be able to address it or help with that.
I hope so. I mean, one of the questions on the 2024 State of Postgres survey is, what do you like most about the Postgres community? Um, and one of the answers so far that we've received is
Oh,
diversity.
that's a,
Like,
that's a,
and it's like, like, okay, like I see where you're coming from. I get it, right? I do because, as we talked about, it is super welcoming. Like once you're there, you're included. But it's not diverse. We're not spreading it across a diverse amount of channels. We're not actually going out of our way to be inclusive and accessible for those that have no idea about Postgres or who don't care about Postgres because we haven't given them a reason to.
true. That's that one thing I actually forgot to mention that about that too, about the state of PostgreSQL server service. I'm back. Can't speak. The state of PostgreSQL survey. That's a good outreach to the community and a lot of questions. So anybody who's listening, go ahead, please take it. I think it's until the end of September, the deadline, or sometime soon.
Yes, September 3rd is the last day that you have to take that survey. It's run officially by timescale, but we've gone out of our way to make it a very community-focused effort. So we have contributions to the question individuals from companies. We really, really try to make sure that this isn't an effort that's designed to timescale, right? This is an effort that's designed to benefit the community as a whole by providing very accurate and hopefully helpful survey questions and answers. And then on top of that, the answers that we do get, a lot of them we left open-ended because we're hoping to take the contributions and actually, or the answers contributed, I should say, and use them to help improve Postgres itself. Not from a timescale perspective, not for timescales, but specifically to help Postgres. Because We care about it as a technology. We're a Postgres company. We're Postgres users. It matters. And that's exactly why we've run the survey since I think 2019, 2018. And you can find all the past year survey results on the on Timescale's blog. If you just Google search State of Postgres survey timescale, they will all pop up. And even in the latest blog post, there's links
Yeah,
to
and
all
that's
the
a
past
great
years
service
as well.
from Timescale on its own because a lot of other organizations kind of keep it in their own circle for their own marketing, putting it that way, because it's to their own benefit. And I get that, and so does everybody else. But Timescale being built on Postgres, one great thing about it is it's saying agnostic of it. You know, it's saying we're Postgres, but we're also Timescale, and they're contributing to the Postgres community without having those specific agendas putting it that way. That's very trendy, very very cool.
Exactly.
Unlike other organizations putting it that way.
Exactly.
Great.
Agreed.
There's been so much information here, Sarah. It's amazing. Your contributions, you're so involved in the community. You put a lot of time and it shows. It's amazing. It's just, I'm running out of words here to say, but wow, you've done a great service to the community and we should all thank you for it. Any other thoughts, ideas that you want to convey before we close out today's episode?
I don't think so. Just, I guess, beyond one thing, which is that if you're not super involved with Postgres, it doesn't have to be a big leap for you to be, right? You can reach out to others in the community. You can reach out to people like you or me and just say, like, hey, I'd like to get involved in some way. Like, might not have extensive Postgres experience, but I've got a little bit of free time. I've got an hour a week. I've got an hour a month, in which I can do something with, and I can help with social media, with design, with marketing, with advocacy, content writing, public speaking, mentorship, training, even video creation or editing, right? There's no matter what you come from or what you do or what your background is in, there is something that you can be doing within the organization help tremendously. And that not only helps your own personal branding and your own career because, it's a portfolio builder, it adds experience to your resume, but also it gives you actual experience within those community, helping contribute to it becoming a better place for everyone, which is super awesome. And we can use all folks from all backgrounds. Please consider, just reaching out to your local network, to community events, to anything, and being a part of things.
Oh, wow.
We'd love to
Thanks.
have you.
You heard it here. Contribute, join the Postgres community. It's open, ready, and waiting to have you there contribute. My last words will be, don't forget to fill in your Postgres uh, survey, the timescale Postgres. I'll get together. Yeah, thank
State
you.
of Postgres survey.
I already filled it. So take your time, go ahead, do it. It helps everybody, not only the Post community, but everyone else that contributes to it.
Yeah, and it's quick to fill out too. Maybe
Yes,
10,
it's very
15
quick. It's very
minutes.
organized, step by step, enter data, click. So don't forget, guys, go ahead. We encourage you to do so. And thank you for watching. And most importantly, thank you, Sarah, for joining us and giving us all this great info. We learn so much with you in every episode. And we thank you for your contributions and to this channel as well. See you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.